Hey yo, in case you didn't hear the bleeper, it's me, it's the RAV coming to you here with the HeelCast. We're doing our redemption preview show. For these preview shows, we like to have a bigger panel with us, so we got a little bit more extra with us this week. I got my man Robert Does Wrestling, actually Wrestling Robert from Robert Does Wrestling. Robert, what's happening, buddy?
Yeah, I'm all right. Looking forward to Redemption this Sunday live on pay-per-view.
Absolutely, man. It's good to have you back. Thought we weren't going to get you for a minute there. You had a little power outage, but he got it back. We were going to have Hurl, so I'm going to bring you up here in a second. But with me, to save our ass and carry us all again, we got my man Larkin with us.
What's going on? What's going on, everybody?
That's Mr. S&M to you.
And, of course, making his long-awaited return to give us some much-needed spice on the show, we've got Kyle. Kyle, what's been up, man?
Oh, man, it's been a bit. I haven't been on in a little bit, but, can't miss out on Redemption. It's looking like a great pay-per-view and excited to talk to it. Sorry to fuck. I'm fucking up here. I'm going to scrap that. Yeah, I'm really excited for Redemption. Super excited to talk about it with you boys.
Absolutely. You're not the only one to fuck up so far today, Kyle. So this is probably getting edited out now, and I'm used to the live recording, so I'm an idiot. But go ahead and leave this in if you want.
Absolutely.
Anyways, guys, to let the listeners know, Hurls was supposed to be here with us today. Hurls backed out at the last minute. He said he got caught up in some stuff that he had to do, didn't have time earlier. Now, this is what I wanted to add, and I was really hoping that Hurls was going to be on the show today because, the listeners, we've been talking about the HeelCast chat that we have on the show, and Chef going heel and hating on Impact, and him and Hurls bickering back and forth like an old married couple. Today, and I understand, most of you guys got a 3-hour time limit on me, or 3 hours ahead of me, and Hurls is 2 hours ahead of me, but I see, my phone's going crazy, and I try and just scroll up to see the conversation here. And I swear to I've never seen so many text messages in my entire life. And I wanted to ask Hurls how on earth he can ever get anything done. Because there's him and Chef argued so much this morning. And I think I texted, fight not ready. And both of them, no arguing. There was definitely fucking arguing going on. And I think I know the answer now because Hurls obviously didn't get anything done. But it's just, I need to know from both of these guys.
Yeah, I keep my notifications turned off for a reason.
I do too, for the most part.
I'm wondering if Hurls had a TNA tattoo because this guy, he's the most loyal Impact Wrestling fan ever. He should be in the Hall of Fame.
Him and Cody gotta have a fucking brawl for that one. And I wonder if I actually think Chef may have a fuck that Al tattoo now as well. It's gotten to that point.
I don't know, man. I'm hearing rumors. I'm not gonna drop any names, but I've heard some rumors that one of Chef's favorite old Impact stars might be coming back to the company. So if it does happen, I think you're gonna see a totally different side of Chef. The old-fashioned Mr. TNA Mafia will make his return.
Are we talking Hulk Hogan or Jessica Havoc?
I don't know, man. Might be. Who's that guy? Who's the jobber that EC3 beat in his big debut match? What was that guy?
Norm Burnham.
Yeah,
or Dewey Barnes.
It might be Norm. Might be Dewey Barnes. You just gonna have to wait and see.
You talk about if Dewey or Norm come back, you talk about ratings.
O'Darg.
Guy high.
Bring back O'Darg.
Fuck no.
The Dups. What about the Dups?
Oh, the Dups, yes. Bring back Lenny Lane. Yeah, there you go.
All right, here.
Lenny Lane was dope.
The obscure Impact wrestler tangent. Let's cut that off now and move along. That could go on all day and night.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we start previewing the news, the one news story for the day, and also the card here, got to go with our plugs as always. Check out Andre Corbeil Show. Of course, check out The Wrestling Perspective with Dennis and Petey. ImpactAsylum.net, where you can catch FK9. What's up to FK9? Of course, my homeboy BQ. Me and BQ, I believe tomorrow, are going to be recording a show for his stuff. Hopefully, time just keeps preventing it from happening, but check for that soon. And then, of course, we got all these fuckers here that do their own thing on the side. So, Robert Does Wrestling. Robert, anything for your show coming up soon?
Yeah, I'm working on the top 10 rivalries, and I'm working on like the top 10 Scott Steiner's promo on on Impact Wrestling. That bit is gonna be hilarious. But I have been getting caught too much into work, but that is one of the stuff that I am working on it, and also the regular stuff, Impact Review, a preview show, and a live stream. I after the pay-per-view, I'm going live.
That's awesome. I'm glad one of us is going to do it because I was hoping the HeelCast might be able to do it. I don't think it's going to permit with everyone's time schedules and all, but Robert, I'm happy to hear that. So absolutely check out Robert's stuff. That Scott Steiner thing sounds like fire. I got to get on it. And then, of course, we got the S&M podcast with Larkin over here.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, we got a lot going on. Last 3 days, I've been busy with interviews. Monday, I had on Allie Parker. Great, lingerie fighting championship, MMA, a little wrestling as well. Gave her brother a kidney. It's a great story. The Fallen Flower Kikyo was on Tuesday. She wrestles for Rise and does a lot of great on the independent work. And we actually talked about the relationship with Rise and Impact Wrestling. And today I had on Renee Michelle, who's the fiance of one rock star Spud. And we talked about her participation in the Mae Young Classic. And we talked about professional wrestling in general. It was a fun past 3 days.
Awesome. There's always so much going on with the S&M show. But another show, and now a lot of stuff's been talked about here. Kyle, you got some stuff coming out, buddy?
Oh, the Heads Network. Definitely follow me on Twitter at the Heads Network with a Z instead of an S because we're immature like that. The Heads Network. This weekend I'm going to be talking to Grandma Jenny from Impact Wrestling. Very excited about that. Got a few other things in the works, but definitely this weekend I'm going to sit down, do an interview with Grandma Jenny, so that'll be out there for everybody. Anybody has any questions for Grandma Jenny, ask them in this comment box or hit me up on Twitter, Heads Network. Definitely follow me.
And okay, I apologize if we spilled the beans early and it failed or you didn't want to come out yet, but we did mention to people about the potential WCW show from Kyle.
Oh, yeah. You know what, man? I'm putting something together here just because I didn't grow up watching WCW. I was a WWF kid. WCW was very much towards the end when I was just getting into wrestling. I'd say I started watching in like 2000, so it was the Russo years. It wasn't a good time to get into it. If I were a little older and started watching in like 96, 97, around that era, probably be a huge WCW fan, but I came in at the wrong time. But looking back now, watching it on the WWE Network, and I hate to even, be a subscriber, but for the Nitros, it's worth it. So I'm watching the old Nitros, watching the Thunders, watching the Saturday nights, and I'm going to do a podcast with, it's going to be me and my boy Boggs. He's a longtime WCW fan. He's been to a million Nitros. He was even at the finale, the last one. He's the perspective of somebody that grew up with WCW, and I'm the guy seeing it for the first time and just getting exposed to it now. So I think it's going to be an interesting podcast. But yeah, stay tuned for that. Very excited.
Raven.
You can take the ball, Raven.
God damn it. Sorry. Talking with mute on, guys, but Kyle, basically...
No, I know what you were doing. You don't need to hide it, Charlie Sheen.
Actually, you're not too far off from that being accurate, Kyle. I'm not going to lie. Kyle knows me too well anymore. No, basically, I'm excited to hear your WCW show, Kyle. I actually really like the concept. I think almost everyone on the HeelCast is excited for it. Speaking of that, today, when we're recording right now, was actually supposed to be our TNA Nostalgia show, the first one. So hopefully we're going to get that recorded soon and then do some more like the Hogan years, WCW, WWF, not ECW, and so forth. And now here's I want to plug Chef. I know we talk about Chef's heel turn, but I do love the guy to death. We all love Chef. I have no idea what the fuck Chef thing is called. He's got so many projects going on. Is it the Heel Team 6 podcast? I think
Heel
Kyle
Team
and Larkin know.
Well, Chef hosts the Heel Team 6 sports show. Me personally, I'm not a huge sports fan. I'm like a casual, casual wrestling fans. I'm a casual sports fan. I'm not a diehard sports fan. Chef, however, guy lives sports, loves sports. So he's got the Heel Team 6 sports show. You check that out on the Heads Network YouTube. I personally, I don't really listen to it, but from what I heard from, the streets, the hood loves it. The hood, 100% certified in the ghettos of America. If you're in the hood and you like sports, you're going to listen to the Heel Team 6 sports show with
especially
Chef.
when you got.
Come on.
It doesn't get any more hood as well than Hurls from the mean streets of Wisconsin talking basketball on top of it.
Oh, Hurls was on with him just this past week. They did an NBA special together. Chef and Hurls, quite the duo.
Did you hear it? Did you actually hear the show?
The rapper and the fapper. I produced it. I put it together. I put the sounds on it and everything. I chopped it up, but I didn't listen to the whole show. I really have no interest in that sort of thing. NBA playoffs, not for me. But if I were a basketball fan, I would listen.
I wanted to know if the bickering, the back and forth shit was on this show.
See,
I don't think it's going to be the way it's supposed
to. That's the problem. They save it. They don't save it for the show. They put it all in the chat room and just let the listeners know. I don't know how often we mention it on here, but there is a HeelCast chat room going on 24 hours a day. Just like we were talking about earlier in the show, the bickering. I'm thinking for the listeners, I might have to start putting out screenshots or a live feed. Our chat room might need to go public because it's there's some real entertainment in there. Whether it's edited pictures, sex scandals, arguments, all sorts of. It's good stuff. It's better than most wrestling.
Yeah, so I've been back on the show 2 or 3 weeks in a row now. And I've actually brought up the chat each week. And it's just, I don't even know why, but I have to get into it every day, even though I don't want the notifications on and all. It's batshit crazy.
I miss the Mae Young pictures. That's a classic. That's like the old chat room, the old days. That's like pre-Larkin.
Which is ironic as it gets, but the Lucha Underground dude and all his pornog pics that he used to send us recording here. I think he actually got someone in trouble at one point, too, with those. He shall remain nameless at this point. Also, the HeelCast yesterday put up a interview with the Kid Referee, so check that out. Apparently, Kid Ref is the big thing on Impact Asylum for some reason. Apparently, he's a great dude. I still need to check it out myself. So, look, that's all that in a nutshell. We got a lot of shit for people to listen to, and when I say shit, I mean it is a HeelCast content, so it is pretty much shitty. But, look, let's hop in. Let's talk redemption, everyone. And someone who came back to redeem himself, he actually got a pinfall victory over EC3 was King Koopa himself, Tyrus. Tyrus gets put in another angle, just like the last time around, gets put in another angle with 1 week of television before the next set of tapings or shows or whatnot, and he quits again. Pretty much the exact same situation. I'm happy. I actually was speaking in the HeelCast chat. I actually believe I said yesterday when I was talking to you guys, when I brought up the card, that I hope to God that we don't have to watch Falaba and Tyrus in a tag team match against Conley and KM or some shit. I got my wish. Kyle, what's your thoughts on Tyrus departing again? Pretty much under the exact same kind of circumstances as last time.
I mean, so from a fan's perspective, I'm not a big Tyrus fan. Never was a huge fan of the guy. But at his age, at this point in his career, I can't imagine he expects them to sign him. And it's got to suck because initially when he first went into TNA years ago, he probably had a thought in his head, oh, I'm a WWE guy coming to TNA. They're going to throw the belt on me. Didn't work out that way for him. He's just, he's typecasted. He's stuck in that, big guy, manager, tough guy, gun for hire. He's just kind of typecasted into that role. He said in his goodbye statement that they couldn't agree on anything creatively. So obviously he wants to do more with the company than get stuck in the role that, they're going to put him in. Another thing, though, I'd say 2 months ago, they announced all these Twitch podcasts. And they had something announced. I don't know if you follow the Impact news as close as I do, listeners will remember one of the shows they announced was going to be a Tyrus talk show. If you're a fan of Tyrus, he's on Fox News every night on the Greg Gutfeld show. He's a big talker. And a live video podcast by Tyrus. It was going to do sports, politics. It could have been something really cool. But all of the Twitch shows that they promised just never happened. I don't know why they scrapped the entire project. And I don't know if they told me that I had this cool video podcast that I was going to be the host of and then just scrapped it. Like, that's a strike. I would be, pretty frustrated creatively. And they're not doing much with you on the show. If you don't care enough for the payday, then, you're just going to move on. I don't see Tyrus showing up in WWE or Ring of Honor or anything like that. Whatever. Don't let the door hit you in the ass.
Robert, thoughts on Tyrus leaving again?
Yeah, I'm devastated. I'm crying. Of course not. I think his ego is kind of getting big, to be honest. I think he thinks he's a big deal, a big superstar or something like that. There's nothing, to be honest. If I was working creative, I wouldn't have him in my roster. There's actually not that much you can get out of him unless you're gonna put him on commentary or something along those lines. I think his ego. And by the way, I don't think he's gonna show up on World Wrestling Entertainment or Ring of Honor. However, ever since like NWA, Billy Corgan and his crew just wanna, use Impact starts to do Impact type of angles, bashing Impact. I won't be surprised if Tyrus show up to wrestle against Magnus or something along those lines. But as for the future, just keep doing your commentary thing on Fox, and that's it. I don't see more of a future in that guy, to be honest.
Larkin.
Ooh, all right. Now, I remember the first time around, I know Tyrus was not happy with the Jeff Jarrett regime at the time. He was actually supposed to face Congo Kong at Bound for Glory last year, and that match did not take place. He comes back, he gets the win over EC3. They're doing this thing with him, Falaba, and Dick Justice. Personally, it is what it is as far as him leaving again. Obviously creative differences, I guess, from what he posted there on Instagram. But here's a guy that's doing his thing on Fox News with Greg Gutfeld. So I think that's where he's going to continue with his endeavors and what he's going to pursue. So I think he's fine just where he's going to probably go, and that being back to Fox News. I don't see him in NXT. I know he's homies with EC3, but personally, I don't see him going back to the WWE NXT on that particular brand. So I'm just going to say he just goes back to doing the Fox News thing.
What I'm going to say about this with Tyrus is I remember when he left over the Congo Kong thing. And now I'm not saying this is true, or it's my absolute opinion, but what came to mind was I thought Tyrus felt he shouldn't have had to put over Congo Kong if that were the case. And I wonder if maybe it was the same thing here with like KM or whatever, or he didn't like the fact that it was, him with Falaba or whatnot. But I mean, this is twice now that the guy has literally been involved in an angle and just left the company in between tapings and left them kind of high and dry and screwed with something they have to just pretend never happened. So I hope to God that this guy never comes back. I honestly don't know why they brought him back in the first place. I don't know anyone that's a fan of the guy. He seems like an all right dude, but you fucked the company over twice. And if you think you're that big of a star, that means you're fucking over the people that you assume are your fans. So good riddance. Please don't come back. I'm sure WWE would love to have you dancing for them again and shitting up the product. So if the 10-year-old kid can do it, Tyrus, so can you. And the one thing I just want to bring up here is the TNA fanboy with the tattoo on his ass, Hurls, had said today that this was expected. Impact only brought him back just to make EC3 happy. Hurls, I just want to tell you this, buddy. If that were the case and they knew that they were just going to cut ties with Tyrus, they wouldn't have had him pin EC3 in, which was the biggest stack of shit that's ever happened on Impact TV almost. And two, they wouldn't have put him in this angle either, dude. So, Hurls, I know you got to prove your point to Chef, but you're wrong on that one, my friend. Now, the one last thing here, Scott Steiner had a conference call. I forgot about that, or at least bringing it up now. Did any of you guys listen to it?
I did.
Fenix!
Listen to it.
It's what you can expect, man. You know, talking about the Mexicans cutting his grass. Yeah.
Oh, Mike, explain it. What exactly was the quote? What did he say?
Oh my God! Now I gotta bring it up. Okay, so pretty much it was just LAX, man. He was talking about, yo, they could cut my grass the same with Conan. You know, we're just gonna beat them. They're a bunch of fat asses. You know, he was going on about the fat asses. The best was he went at Triple H and pretty much said that his opinions have not changed about Triple H. He called the Hall of Fame a sham, and he pretty much went in on the Hall of Fame. And he pretty much went in on Hogan again. He's like, you know what? You tried to get me arrested and said that I assaulted your girlfriend at an airport. And he's like, well, thank God there were cameras there. So pretty much he was being Scott Steiner, you know, answering questions. But then there was a time when he would, even at the beginning of the conference call, he would go, fuck you, Ross, and pretty much called him a fat ass. So yeah, it was Scott Steiner being the big bad booty daddy and Big Papa Pump, the genetic freak himself. But then there's also Scott Steiner, the man answering these questions. So you got a little bit of the best of both worlds on this conference call.
She's wasting too much of my time, man. It's like,
there you
try to call me up, tell me to call me at 2 o'clock. It's 2 minutes after 2. What happened at 2 o'clock? Shit. I'm sorry, bad. Traffic sucks, man.
Alrighty. Your thoughts about Santana and Ortiz?
Well, they will be with Conan cutting my grass.
Wow.
I actually have a T-spot where I need on the grounds where you have to be putting, so they better be just right. Not any off, but they better be cutting my grass right. That's what I don't understand. Why is Trump wants to keep on all the Mexicans, but who's going to cut the grass? Seriously. I mean, that's a legitimate question.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow,
God, really?
that's
Did you have to add that? Did you have to put that legitimate question part in there, Scotty? It seemed like a heel work, and really though, with today's society,
I mean, you know what though? If this were real Raven Effect, if Scott Steiner, old white guy from where's he from? Where's he from?
Michigan.
He's from Michigan. He's going up against a team named LAX. He's probably a right winger in real life. If this were real, you think he's going to avoid that subject? No, a douchebag asshole, the character he plays, he would say that. He would stoop to that level. And to me, it's like, that's wrestling with balls. We don't see that type of stuff anymore.
No, I agree with you. And you know the thing, I knew about the quote. I didn't hear it, but I knew about it. And you know, I just feel like PC World, he's probably going to have the social justice warriors coming at him and all.
Oh, if that happened in WWE, the Twitter mob would be lighting a fire. It would be insane. It'd be a riot.
But there'd be plenty of their fanboys defending them. Is what bothers me. But all of them would turn on Impact if they find out. I think it's going to go wild. But the thing that, like, it's in character as a heel, as a bad guy. And you think about wrestling in the past, man. I've heard so much worse on live wrestling television in all organizations, including the WWF at the time. But the one thing that I wanted to say, man, is like if you look at like the Comedy Central roasts, like people say way more fucked up shit, and it just no one cares. But I mean, a comment like this, I have a feeling you're just gonna get crucified for it.
Let me hop in. Let me spell like a little error. Scott Steiner is not white; he's Jewish. So therefore, I don't think he's gonna get in trouble. If he was like white, he might get in trouble. But Jewish, not really. And to be honest, that is what you expect out of Scott Steiner, that type of over the top type of stuff, and that is his character, and everybody should get it. And that is why he's so, beloved by the fans and stuff like that. I did hear part of the teleconference. I heard like the part he was talking about, Hogan and that type of stuff. However, I think this is something very important to say, right? For all of us who like Impact Wrestling, who we pass through the dark days of the Hogan regime, is that Scott Steiner was the first one who pointed his finger at Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan, saying, hey, these people here they may have the best intentions ever, but this is not gonna get us anywhere, and they are gonna destroy, the whole thing. And guess what? He was right, because ever since those days, they peak a little bit later in 2012. They had a couple of good stuff, but after that they ran out of money, and then the whole cutting thing started. They had to put up with the Destination America stuff, and now they're putting up with the Pop TV, which that is a downside, especially when you compare that to the good old days on Spike TV. So what I'm saying with all of that is Scott Steiner might come across, as an insane person, but when business, pick up and business become real, he is one of those guys who is there for the right reason, not just to get himself over. That is why he put over during the teleconference Brian Cage. He put him over like like $1 million, and that is something he did without, I guess, people pushing him to do that. Therefore, you could see his intentions of being in Impact Wrestling. Go ahead.
Well put. I'm back, guys. I fell off the line there. Just need to also say this and fuck editing it out, but I cannot see the chat window right now, guys, with this link from Skype. Just want to put that out there as we do this show. But let's move on to Redemption, where we're gonna get the Big Bad Booty Daddy. Unless someone else had to chime in, I know Kyle's a Scotty Steiner guy.
Oh no, I spoke my piece. Then we heard from Robert. Larkin disappeared. We don't know where Larkin is.
I'm back. Back.
Larkin's back. But yeah, no, we all spoke to Steiner.
All right, gotcha. All right, guys, let's move on to Redemption. Look, we had two other news stories this week, but they chimed into Redemption. The first one was a match announcement. No, I've got a X Division. I guess I want to say an X Division match. We have 6-man match. It's Ishimori versus Dezmond Xavier versus Fantasma versus DJ Z versus Trevor Lee versus Brian Cage. I'm going to say it's awesome to see Dezmond Xavier back. Really fucking cool to see DJ Z back. Out of all the partnerships and international guys that came in, Fantasma's been the one I've gotten behind the most. I'll bring up the Ishimori thing here in a couple minutes. But the Brian Cage, he can work the X Division style. We've seen this happen before, actually, in his little tryout things with Impact. But it's kind of strange to see him in this match. Do you, Kyle, you agree? Thoughts on Cage being in this X Division match?
Yeah, it's outside of the ordinary, but he's a very agile, big guy. He can fly around a little bit in that ring. You're gonna see him toss them around. He's gonna be a big dog in a cage with a bunch of puppies. It's gonna be cool. I should I put my prediction here? Should I say what I think's gonna happen, or you're gonna come back around for that?
You know what? Good. I was not prepared for that. So at least on this round, Kyle, go ahead and give me a prediction. I'll have everyone gonna give their whatever they want to say in their prediction, then I'll kind of wrap it up and give mine.
Well, like I said, Brian Cage is going to be the big dog in there, ripping apart a bunch of puppies. I think Brian Cage is going to win this match.
Larkin, what you got on this one?
Ooh, great competitors. Brian Cage is athletic as hell and great at what he does, the power game, the athleticism game. A lot of great athletes in this matchup, but I too, as my boy Kyle, I am going to go with Brian Cage to take the W in this 6-way match. It's another way to showcase and possibly, see Brian Cage rise up the rankings.
Yeah, I'm also in the same bandwagon. I'm choosing Brian Cage to win the match. However, there is a question and a statement that I might need to say. This is a kind of a throwaway match. I know, there's some people who are in a cult for the new bookers, and they have done a lot of good stuff. And, they beat themselves in the chest saying that they are the golden bookers and blah, blah, blah. However, how can you claim to be the golden booker when you have someone like Brian Cage that you push since day one, but you didn't have anything for him at the pay-per-view. That the proof is in the pudding. However, this is gonna be an enjoyable match, but it is like that type of thing. This didn't have a build up. This is gonna be one of those exhibition matches and
It's a
blah
team
blah
go
blah.
for broke. It's a capture
Yeah.
the flag.
Yeah, type of deal. So I wish, they would have had something better for Brian Cage. Hopefully, they make it good for him for the next pay-per-view.
Robert, as far as the throwaway match and all, I have heard a lot of people saying that you're just throwing a random X Division match or random match in there, just throwing a bunch of guys for the heck of it or whatnot. And I go back to this mindset all the time, man. I mean, people always talk about how every match needs to have a purpose for it, but I'm from the old school where it didn't have to be that way. Every match, every fight, every match, whatever, is one way to get closer to your goal, which is the championship. And I look at this and I assume that the winner of this match is going to get an X Division title shot. If it doesn't work out that way, then call me wrong, but I still think we're going to get an awesome match out of this. I miss Ultimate X, to be honest. I know they put way too much a couple years ago and they had literally no idea what they were doing. But I'd like to see the match come back. And, I think that really this is going to be used because we've seen Brian Cage kind of go through, just kind of bully and throw around and just be a beast with the bigger guys. I think this is going to be a match to showcase that he can go in there and, switch it up and work the X Division style too, to really showcase this guy as the star and the next big thing that they're pushing him to be. DJ Z, he got that bad injury, and the Lucha Underground show was the first time we've seen DJ Z in over a year. It's awesome to see him back. He was a guy that I felt was vastly improved last year, and I didn't think we were actually going to see him again in Impact, so I'm happy to see him back. There was talk about Ishimori going to NXT. I don't know if he is re-signed with Noah. Maybe he's just doing a PPA deal. It'd be kind of cool if he gets a job or like at least a short-term stint with Impact, but it's nice to see that a guy doesn't leave. Dezmond Xavier, I'm excited as hell to be back. I think it's time to push this guy and focus on him hard because he's an amazing talent. And Fantasma is great too. I think Brian Cage wins. I'm in the same boat as you guys, but I think it's time to actually start pushing the X Division harder.
Well, you gotta have one of these matches. If you're gonna have a pay-per-view, I get what you mean, Robert, about it not having a purpose for Brian Cage, but you got to have one of these crazy stunt show matches on the card. I mean, in today's market, that's what the fans like, and, just that one crazy cruiserweight match to pop the fans. I understand it, but it just seems like it's become a regular part of Impact where their shows just have these throw a bunch of X Division guys in the ring and just do a bunch of crazy stuff. You'd like to see more build, more purpose, right?
Yeah, really, especially for pay-per-view, because at the end of the day, people are paying for it. That is not like stuff that you're getting for free or anything like that. And you need to value your audience. And this is not like me bitching or anything, but you have a already damaged image. So therefore, you need to make the people who are putting their hard-earned money out there, make it worth for it. Make it worth it.
And the X Division built this company. It really did. It was the backbone of TNA. And I, Robert, we know you're not hating, man. You got your right to that opinion, and it does make a lot of sense. As far as better build up, the X Division's never really been around storylines or anything like that. But we should have more X Division matches on Impact, is my opinion. And I hope this is the start of it. And we got some good talent coming back. That's all that really matters. Am I right, guys?
Yep.
I think this match kicks ass, to be honest. I think it's a great match. The second set of news was there was another match announced. Now, we were supposed to have a Lucha Underground singles competition that now moved to the main event. So we got another one. We got Drago versus Aerostar. So is Drago, we've seen on Impact Wrestling, but guys, he doesn't get called Drago in Lucha Underground, right?
No, he's Drago.
He is Drago in Lucha Underground?
Yep.
Okay, his Aerostar, does he go by Aerostar in Lucha Underground as well?
Yes, he does.
Okay. So I don't know anything about Aerostar. I've seen Drago on Impact. I've seen Drago on Impact. All I'm gonna say is, at least for right now, I'm picking Drago to win because we've seen him on Impact. So I'm assuming, like they had a purpose for that to get behind him. So there's my pick. Larkin, I know you watch Lucha Underground, so I'm gonna kick this to you first, and then we'll let Robert go, and then Kyle cap it off.
Sure. You know what? These guys have had a great series of matches against each other on Lucha Underground, and they were a very formidable tag team. I believe Fenix was also in that as well, right? Fenix. You know what it is now? How they portray Drago is, he's turned to the dark side. He's being managed by Cobra Moon. He's alongside of Vimbora and Pindar on, Lucha Underground, another great competitors. But as far as this match goes, I got to go with Drago too, man. I mean, I love Aerostar. I think he's great at what he does, but I think this is Drago's moment to shine in this particular matchup. So my pick as well is going to be Drago.
I'm going a different route. I'm choosing Aerostar on this one. Why? Because of the way they show him and showcase him during the Impact Wrestling versus Lucha Underground. He was kind of the eye-catching star of his matchup. So I wouldn't be surprised if he is the one winning just because to start something new with him on Impact Wrestling and put him over during his first night in the Impact Zone.
I think the fans are going to win. That's who's going to win this match. The fans. Fans of Lucha Underground and Impact Wrestling. Fans of professional wrestling. It's good to see companies working together and coexisting. I'm excited for the match. Love Drago. Love Aerostar. I really got no horse in this race. Either way, I'll be happy. Drago, I saw him live for. He wrestled low key at Impact's house show. One of them over the summer. Great talent. Just like Robert mentioned, Aerostar really shined at the Impact versus Lucha event. Either way, are we ever going to see either of these guys again in Impact Wrestling? I don't know, but sure hope so.
No, I didn't hit you guys with it, but Kyle. Actually, you know what, Kyle? You got to at least take a pick on it. Who do you got?
My pick. I'm going to go for Aerostar. I'm going to agree with Robert.
All right. Real quick, Robert, do you watch Lucha Underground?
From time and time, I'm not big into it.
I just didn't know.
I watched the Spanish version of it. I haven't seen the with Matt Striker or anything like that. I saw it with it's on Spanish, and not I'm not that into it.
I hear you. All right. So look, this is what I was going with now, guys. I was going to hit you with this one because, we've kind of had a talk, especially the other day. There's some grumblings, here and there from some sources. This Impact versus Lucha Underground thing is going to be more than just what we're seeing. Not necessarily a merger, but kind of like what we have with New Japan and Ring of Honor. Hurl sees the Lucha Underground sign on the Impact poster and thinks that's a done deal, and it's signifying it. Kyle, let's say Impact and Lucha Underground kind of work together, do the same kind of partnership with Ring of Honor New Japan. What do you think about that?
Well, it can't hurt them. It can't hurt them. Best case scenario for Impact, there's Lucha Underground fans that, they're part of the LOL TNA crowd. They're not giving it a chance. It might convert them, make them say, hey, I need to see that. I'm going to tune in and check out some Impact. And I'm a believer, if you actually take the time to watch the show, you will be converted into a fan. So I think it's a good thing. It's positive. Shows the companies working together, and it can't hurt Impact Wrestling, I don't think. Might get them in some conversations with some Netflix executives too, huh? What's the worst that could happen?
Ooh, I personally, myself included, I think it'll be a great partnership. I think there's a lot of promise and potential there. There's a lot of great athletes on Lucha Underground side that we can see here. Personally, I'll make a reference to Wrestling Society X. Jack Evans just left there. I love to see a Matt Sydal Jack Evans matchup in Impact Wrestling from their days working on WSX and all around the country. You look at also guys like Marty the Moth. You look at Shane Strickland, aka Kill Shot. You look at guys like the Mac. And I mean, you could see a lot of promising and great matchups and fresh matchups coming to that partnership. So I think it'll be good all in all.
So I guess I am the kind of the halfway dissident on this one. Oh, it would be good if things were all right. However, I am skeptical into a sense that Impact Wrestling, due to their history, have the problem of putting the people from the outside first, not their talent first. And everybody knows that I am a non-believer, but I may have to pray this Sunday. I hope they decide not to put the title on Pentagon Jr. or on Fenix just to, appease that audience. Impact is as hurt as everybody knows. And the last thing they need to focus is to focus on someone else. A partnership, yes, is good, but how much are you gonna put into the table? How much do that person is gonna put into the table? What I don't want is them to throw to the side the Impact Wrestling, talent in order to put over their people, the Lucha Underground type of stuff. I know they're doing the series and blah blah blah, and Impact Wrestling is gonna be on Netflix, and they're gonna be big superstar and with the cool kids that watch Netflix. But don't throw your own people under the bus. That is the precautionary thing that I see when I hear Impact Wrestling working deeper with Lucha Underground, and I think it is a fair assessment. I'm not judging too hard Impact Wrestling. That is the why I actually fear about that partnership.
I honestly think that it's a win-win for both companies, and really, I don't want to see TNA be the Ring of Honor to letting LU be New Japan. You have a great point there, Robert. I mean, that would just be ridiculous. Impact needs to realize they're the big dog and they got the power in this partnership. I feel like it's more money for both Lucha Underground wrestlers to come to Impact and get paid, Impact wrestlers to get paydays with Lucha Underground or AAA promotions, and it's going to keep more wrestlers happy. I look at it as I'm going to be into watching Lucha Underground because I was never into it, but they kind of sold me working with Impact the other night. And it's like, if I can see my Impact guys on Lucha Underground, guys and gals, I should say, I'm going to want to tune in that much more. And I do think, Kyle brought up about the Lucha Underground fans being against Impact Wrestling. I feel it definitely can convert fans from Impact like myself over to Lucha Underground and Lucha Underground over to Impact. This is great for the business. We need to see stuff like this go on more. I have correct me if I'm wrong, but we wouldn't see any Impact guys on this upcoming season of Lucha Underground because it's already been filmed, right?
I think there was rumblings that Laurel Van Ness, who worked there, is going to be there. I think you'll probably see Tommy Dreamer. I think you're going to see guys like Jack Swagger on there. So there's been rumblings about possible, additions to Lucha Underground this upcoming season.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Jesse Gutter's gonna show up at Lucha Underground. Sorry for spoiling that one, but it is what it is.
No, you're right, Rob. It's all good.
Hold on a second. I need to just cut it off real quick. We're talking about Lucha Underground and Impact Wrestling, but I wonder what is the deal with Aero Lucha? Is there going to be a partnership with Impact and Aero Lucha? A lot of their talent works for the company, and they're shopping it to TV networks. Interesting. It's very interesting. It's like,
really?
Yeah, it's strange because it's like there's Lucha Underground and now there's another American Lucha company. It's almost a trend.
Yeah. What? Let me explain that one because some people might not get it. What happened is the owner of Lucha Libre AAA, right, Dorian Roldan, the guys, how can you say in English when a boss is, uh, kind of unfair, kind of exploitative type of boss.
Like the character in Lucha Underground?
Yeah, like
Yeah. So what happened is there is a exodus of talent, and they're choosing between him or Conan. And Conan is the one building Aerostar because he already left the whole Crash thing. So there is a exodus of stars. This guy, Mil Muertes, he's no longer with AAA. I don't know if he's gonna show up at the Lucha Underground deal, but he's no longer with them, and he was the one who, opened the whole can of worms.
But that's so weird because Conan is working for Impact, and Impact is working with AAA. Like that's so weird.
Yeah.
It's politics, man. It's just politics of the business.
It's weird to see Conan actually being professional as well.
Yeah, and also the other problem that they having over there is Vampiro. Vampiro is the booker over there, and there is a lot of disagreement between the talent and him. So there is like a split between that company happening, and it is like it's between like a split and an exodus towards other companies and people fighting within that company. So that is why you are seeing the new emergence of lucha libre type of wrestling in the United States, because that guy Dorian Roldan, he had like the rights of doing lucha libre in the US, right? He had it for like the 90s, ever since like when worlds collide. He did that deal. He did like Lucha Libre USA, which was also like a failed experiment. He threw his hat in a little bit with the whole Wrestling Society X, and then he was able to actually make it happen with Lucha Underground. But it is a quite complicated issue, and I'm not the subject matter expert or anything like that. But it seems like the guy is not a good cookie. He's like a tough cookie, and nobody wants to work with him for that long period of time.
That was a good explanation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, the last kind of things I have to say, man, is I think that this relationship is really going to be the one that benefits Impact the most. I mean, speaking of Crash, I don't think that the Crash promotion really did anything. I kind of have a feeling it's dead too. I mean, Garza's in NXT. Haven't seen the Laredo Kid. You look at Noah. I mean, has Noah really benefited Impact at all? We had Ishimori, but I don't really think him being the X Division Championship did anything. Maybe gave Eddie Everett some more credibility, but this one I think is going to really do dividends. And the thing that pops up too is that there's been talk, will Lucha Underground lose the El Rey network at some point? Well, now they've got the GWN, which is going to actually, if you think about this, if you put the Lucha Underground content on there, or they lose their TV deal, it's going to take those Lucha Underground fans, going to make them subscribers to the Global Wrestling Network, which is going to make Impact money. Kyle brought up the Netflix thing. That I didn't think about that. That would be great for Impact to get. It could be hard to integrate some of the Impact talent, into Lucha Underground because it's so wacky there. But, I see nothing but positives for both. Literally the last thing, I talked about the talent coming over there, the Mac, Ivelisse Velez. I think that'd be awesome to see. Killshot, man, I'm big on that guy. Jack Evans was mentioned. He apparently left the company. Apparently he got in like some kind of argument with Ivelisse, he said. Led to that. I'm hoping that he signs with Impact Wrestling. I mean, more than 5 people know him, so I'm sure NXT is going to offer him a deal, but I'm excited about this.
M-Dog 20, Matt Cross. Imagine him versus Matt Sydal. Like, they have a pretty damn good roster at Lucha Underground.
Absolutely. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to ask if PJ Black was still there.
Oh, yeah, he's still doing his thing as a part of the Worldwide Underground. I was going to say, and Helico is another one that just left, so he would be great in the X Division.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want Chavo back. Get on Chavo. All right,
no interest in Kerwin White?
Everyone's got interest in Kerwin White. I mean, that was just brilliant. WWE at its finest. Now, look, Robert, you brought up the criticism on the booking team, and I'm going to bring this up because there's no Taya or Rosemary match announced yet. Apparently, Rosemary's injured. Regardless, I feel like the match that they had last week on Impact should have probably been on the pay-per-view. But the one guy that they pushed really big that's not on the card or announced yet is Johnny Impact. I'm guessing that Johnny Impact is going to wrestle Congo Kong on the card, but if I remember right, isn't Johnny Impact versus Congo Kong supposed to be on Impact tomorrow?
That's correct. And I guess what they could do is they could do some sort of like screw job finish, and that could lead to like a rematch at the pay-per-view. That's the direction that I would go with it.
Yeah. I would like to see Impact versus Jimmy Jacobs at the pay-per-view, but
Agreed.
Because the fact, yeah, look, I'm going to assume that this gets on the pay-per-view. I cannot imagine that they go into Redemption and not have Johnny Impact on the card. So, Robert, assuming Johnny Impact takes on Congo Kong, who do you got in this one?
Johnny Impact ain't losing. That guy, he got his sights back once again on the title. So I don't think he's gonna lose. He's winning. Johnny Impact is gonna be the winner if they go at it on pay-per-view.
Kyle.
Yeah, definitely Johnny Impact. They're going to give him that feel-good moment. They love him, man. They want him locked into a deal without a doubt. I think he's an asset to the company. They're taking care of him. I mean, they gave him the name Johnny Impact, not for no reason.
Ooh. I'm actually going to differ on this. I'm going to say the new monster, Congo Kong, gets the win.
Wow. I can't imagine Johnny Impact losing. And, Congo Kong, I like the guy a lot. He's a friend of the show. I like what they're doing. I think literally from the time I first saw him, they kind of started pushing him. I thought the guy's a lot better and has more potential, to kind of be a draw, at least in Impact terms, than a lot of people say. But he's really not on Johnny Impact level. I can't see a reason at all that Johnny Impact would lose this one. All right, guys. So
yeah, Raven.
Uh-huh.
There is, I think you hit a good point right there. Congo Kong might not seem like a big deal to the typical smart fan that thinks that he knows everything about wrestling, right? But take a look at his matches on the YouTube page, how well he does when it comes down to views, especially when you put him against, another type of big time talent. You might get, if you're just a regular average fan, you might not see the potential outside of the US of Congo Kong. And it is not only his size and his speed, it's also his look. He looks, he have a raw look into it, the same way Abdullah the Butcher used to do back in the day. That is why he is a good talent that you also need to take care of him, because you don't want to lose that magic that he have. Go ahead.
I was going to say I agree with Robert. I just wanted to chime in very quickly here and just say I agree with Robert. He does have that very Abdul the Butcher-esque look, and sort of like what the WWE, put out there with Big Daddy V, Viscera. So, yes, I definitely agree with what Robert's saying about his stature and the overall, that is Congo Kong.
He reminds me more of Kamala than anyone. But, yeah, I mean, summed it up well, man. I feel like people don't give Congo Kong enough credit, and more Jimmy Jacobs on TV is something that they need to do, too. We're going to move along. I'm going to assume the first title match we'll see on the card is going to be the X Division Championship match. I think this one's a little bit hard to predict. You all know who I love. I love Petey Williams. I want to see Petey Williams get a bigger push, really get rewarded for all his time in Impact. Needless to say, I think this match is going to be awesome, possibly the match of the night. I'm not going to wrap it up. I'm just going to say, unfortunately, I can't see Petey coming out on top. I think Matt Sydal is going to retain and then probably get his ass kicked by Brian Cage. Robert, who are you picking in this one?
I'm picking Matt Sydal. However, you know what I'm looking forward? I am looking forward to see if they actually put the trigger and make Josh Matthews take the Canadian destroyer. That would actually be something that is gonna be very memeable. So that is gonna become an instant meme all over Twitter, and that is gonna get a lot of eyes into the promotion during that night. So I think the wise decision would be okay, keep the title on Matt Sydal. However, give the fans that moment of seeing Josh Matthews taking the Canadian destroyer.
So, Larkin, who you got in this one?
You know what? I'm gonna say namaste, and I'm going to go with Matt Sydal retaining over Petey Williams. I could see this feud continuing, possibly towards the Slammiversary realm, but I'm gonna say Matt Sydal retains with a little help from Mr. Josh Matthews.
Kyle, what you got?
I mean, personally, I think if my man Murder was there, he'd pull out the Glock 9 and do what he does, and you know what I'm saying? I think he'd come out on top. But, yeah, no, Josh Matthews is going to win this match. Without a doubt, it's going to be the GOAT. He's not even a contender. Josh Matthews is going to win.
New X Division champion Joshua Matthews.
I'm on board with the GOAT movement, man. A lot of people are hating on him. I'm a big mark for Josh. I love seeing him with Matt Sydal. Matt Sydal is great. The guy's a spectacle. He's a human spectacle, but I'm more on board just for Josh Matthews.
I'm on board with Matthews as a heel manager.
Absolutely.
Get him out of the booth unless they hire Striker, because they were great together at the dual show. But get him out of the booth. But the thing, if he ate that Canadian destroyer, you realize we'd be stuck with a Sanjay Dutt pulling a Joey Styles and calling the entire show on his own. And Sanjay and Josh do better than JB and Josh did, sadly. But just no, God no. Get back in the ring, Sanjay. Stay healthy, baby. All right, guys. Next match here. Let's go to the House of Hardcore match. I think I'm super excited for this. Not only do I love hardcore wrestling, but this is my favorite feud in wrestling right now. And this is also why they need to lower the taping schedule, because, to be honest, the way that things have transpired, it should be Sami Callihan against Eddie Edwards one-on-one. This needs to happen on pay-per-view. We got Tommy Dreamer, who got the biggest fucking reaction of the entire crowd last week, which is odd. But we got Dreamer, Moose, and of course Eddie Edwards against OVE and Sami Callihan. I feel like it absolutely, with the odds even up, I think there's absolutely no way that Eddie Edwards, Moose, and Tommy Dreamer don't go over. I assume Moose or Eddie Edwards is going to get a pin on one of the Crist brothers. And then I feel like the blow-off where we get Eddie Edwards finally get that win over Sami Callihan will happen on the tapings at some point. And whether another I Quit match or a false count angle, something brutal, last man standing, and I think it's going to just be awesome. But after Impact they got to push Callihan. They got to do something good with this guy. This guy has completely won me over. Let him do this Brian Pillman thing, this loose cannon type of shit, and run with him. Eddie's got to get the win.
Well, speaking of Sami Callihan, Raven, I'm not going to ask for everyone's opinions because I really would hate to throw this podcast in another direction, into another tangent, but I have to say it. Right now, it's just hitting the sheets in the news circuit. Tonight in Dayton, Ohio, in a wrestling match, Sami Callihan hit pro wrestling legend Kevin Sullivan in the head with the bat, and Sullivan's got a big, nasty gash on his head. The picture's circling around. It's like the size of a baseball busted open. And it's just, oh man, it adds to the mystique of this Sami Callihan. This guy is a true monster.
You know, the ironic thing, man, is I talk about, I've compared Sami Callihan's work to Brian Pillman lately and wanted to see the next Brian Pillman. If you're the Booker man comment that Callihan made towards Don Cyrus, of course, Brian Pillman in the ring went kind of nuts and picked up the mic while he's wrestling Kevin Sullivan, said, "I respect you, Booker man," and walked away. Irony in that, man, that's crazy. If only Chris Benoit were around to make things better.
Oh, jeez. Move along.
Kyle, let's keep it going there, man. Thoughts on this one and your prediction?
You know what, man? I like OVE, but I'm a huge mark for Moose. Love Tommy Dreamer. Eddie, not the biggest Eddie fan, but I respect him as a worker out in the ring. He's a warrior. I'm not going to take that away from him. But yeah, no, I'm on Team Dreamer, Moose, Edwards, definitely.
Larkin.
Ooh, I am going to go the opposite direction here, and I'm going to say OVE gets the victory over Tommy Dreamer, Moose, and Eddie Edwards, with Sami Callihan getting the win on Tommy Dreamer with a baseball shot to the head. Baseball bat shot, to the head.
Robert, who you got in this one?
Yeah. So, I think, it is a hard match to predict, right? Because in one side you got Tommy Dreamer, who is notorious for being, a loser, and on the other side you got on the same side you also have Moose, who is the golden boy of Impact Wrestling, and he's not getting pinned on the match. And in the middle you have Eddie Edwards, who is the one who is in the feud with Sami Callihan. So I guess on this one, the heels won on this one. OBE are, my prediction is that they are the winner. By the way, I just saw the picture of Kevin Sullivan, and holy cow, it is for real. It is not, some, work or anything like that. But obviously they got, together to put the angle together, but holy shit, this Kevin Sullivan is insane. When you see his forehead, it looks like he have like a baseball in his head. Insane.
It's a big lump. It's gushing. It looks like that thing I had on my lower extremities when I slept with that cheap hooker. It's totally disgusting.
I remember seeing pictures of that.
Oh God!
I still look at him and masturbate violently. It just, man, how this happened again. And you remember like when it happened with Eddie Edwards, and we knew about it because, or at least those of us who read the spoilers, we knew it happened. But when it came out, man, it was like big kind of a deal to a lot of people in wrestling. Like Sami he's reckless. I'm friends with a guy was a big deal, a manager in the 70s in the territory days, and he's very anti-Impact nowadays. I'll say that. He's a bitter guy, but I love him to death. He was saying how it was such an unnecessary, shot and thing to do with it, and they could have done it without the bat and all. It's just, man, if this wasn't planned out and it was another accident, I think they got to change something at all. It can be like, it can literally fucking kill someone to bash their skull with a bat, and it's not like he's swinging it like a pussy, you're kind of tapping it. But, I don't know, man, like it's fucking pro wrestling, old school. Who knows if Sullivan was like, do it to me, let's get you some heat or something. But shit, man, I don't know. That's scary stuff. So we're going to move on to the next one. So this one, in my opinion, this is the hardest match to predict that there is out there. It's the Knockouts Championship match, Allie against Su Yung. I'm assuming Su Yung is going to have Braxton Sutter in her corner. I'm going to let you guys kind of start off here. I'm going to go to Robert, and then we'll let Kyle, and then we'll have Larkin kind of end it off for us there.
Easy match to predict. I'm choosing on this one Su Yung. I don't think she's gonna take a L on her first pay-per-view showing on Impact Wrestling. So we got a new champion, Su Yung.
Whew. Out of the two, I was going to originally say that Allie retains, and then we can, continue with this feud going into Slammiversary. But yes, since this being Su Young's debut pay-per-view matchup, I think we're going to get a new Knockouts champion, that being the Undead Bride herself, Miss Su Yung.
I don't think it's time to take the belt off of Allie, but you guys make a good point. They're going to want, that big moment with Su Yung, I guess. First pay-per-view. Yeah, I mean, I was going with Allie, but the way you guys put it, I'm undecided on this one. Put me down for undecided. Don't know, and that's good. It's an unpredictable match.
Yeah, it is good, man. It is good to have it be hard to call. I feel like everyone kind of knew who was going to win the WrestleMania matches and shit like that, But, obviously, you guys, point being, she's a newcomer. They're pushing her hard. It's her debut match on pay-per-view. She's very Rosemary-esque, kind of taking, away what the heel Rosemary did at the start. And then, of course, Braxton Sutter is there. They're trying to make a heel turn for them. They don't have a whole lot of people on the roster, so they got to get everyone over. If Braxton were to interfere, get kind of physical with Allie, cost her the match and all, that's probably going to get both of them over and get them some heat. And Braxton, Lord knows, the guy needs to get over. But then on the other hand, Kyle's absolutely right. It's way too young. It's not time to take Allie's reign off of her at all. And then, you see her getting the pep talks from Gail Kim. It's like they're pushing her up to be this big, huge thing. And that's why it's so hard for me to pick. I feel like Allie should still be the champ. She just got a fucking victory over Taya Valkyrie, who they had pushed super hard. Like, Allie actually ended up, the way they went on, being the first person on Impact Wrestling to actually beat Taya. Rosemary became second. I see that my prediction is somehow they're going to have Rosemary against Su Yung in between there, and then at Bound for Glory, I think we're finally going to get what's going to lead into the big thing is going to be Team Demon Bunny splitting and have the Rosemary against Allie. I guess I'm going to say that Su Yung will win the belt. Rosemary will end up getting it from Su Yung, which will lead to the Allie heel turn at some point, which will lead to Allie versus Rosemary at Bound for Glory. As much as I want Allie to retain, I'm going to go with Su Yung, I guess. Seriously, a great job trying to, making this match hard to call. So let's see what we've got 2 matches left to wrap this up. LAX defending the tag team championship against should be the greatest pairing and duo since peanut butter and jelly, chocolate and peanut butter and balls, Scott Steiner and Eli Drake. I'm surprised. One thing I want to say, I'm surprised at the reaction that Tommy Dreamer got by the Impact Zone crowd, and then literally pin drops for Scott Steiner to come out. I think this is going to be. I don't expect like a classic match at all. I think LAX can carry pretty much anyone. Eli is fantastic, whatever he does with his charisma. Steiner is Steiner, but he's old. He's going to have to be carried there. But I just think the fact that it's Eli and Steiner and LAX and Diamante probably back, Conan out there, I think it's going to be extremely entertaining. And I got to go with Eli Drake and Scott Steiner winning the tag team championship. However, rumor is that the May 1st is going to be Eli Drake's contract expiring. Who knows what's going to happen there. They got to take that Alberto money and keep Eli on the roster. Larkin.
Love Eli Drake. I think LAX are a tremendous tag team. I'm going to say LAX retain, and they get the pin on the big bad booty daddy. So I'm going to say LAX retains.
This is not that easy of a match to call, to be honest. And this is going to be one of the most entertaining match during the whole card, obviously, because of the amount of talent and entertainment value inside that talent. With that being said, my money is going to be safe. My money is with the Latin American Exchange, LAX.
Who you got in the tag team championship match of all time?
Let us know your pick, Kyle.
Talking in mute, I totally don't see Eli Drake and Scott Steiner being tag team champions. I mean, let's be real. I don't think Steiner's having any run at this age. He's kind of just that once-in-a-while special attraction. The vet. I'm staying with LAX. However, you might see, I think LAX is going to win, but you might see the debut of a new tag team during this match. It would be the time to do it.
So, wow, I'm actually kind of surprised that I'm in the minority here. So, I can't see Steiner having a long run. You guys are right there. But I hope to God, like more than anything, that this is a pairing that lasts and sticks around, Scott Steiner, Eli Drake, because I honest to God think it can be the best thing on TV. Like the best duo put together since Bad Influence, like that kind of just brilliance every time they come out and do something there. Man, I don't know. I don't understand. Why did you guys say you felt LAX was a safe pick? If you don't mind me, like Robert, you said they were safe. What do you say there?
Yeah, there's no competition out there, like a legit competition for the time being. So I don't think they're gonna move that title away from them unless they have another solid tag team to put the titles on them.
I gotcha. I'm hoping for the long term. Scott Steiner's around there. I feel like short term they could make him the champions. LAX eventually would win it back. But yeah, what I honestly God hope happens is we got Scott Steiner, you got Petey Williams, who's little Petey Pump. I've been hoping and praying and asking for the Petey Williams and Sanjay Dutt tag team thing to happen. Make that the next feud for the tag team championship. That's my hopes there. But it is what it is. We'll see on Sunday. Of course, the last thing is the main event was supposed to be Austin Aries against that very professional human being in Alberto El Patron. We know what happened there. So Fenix, Pentagon, and Austin Aries. Larkin. How big and over is Fenix in Lucha Underground? I know, like, Pentagon Jr. is pretty much the guy there. Am I right?
Yes, Pentagon Jr. is the current reigning and defending Lucha Underground champion.
Like, how over big, like, what is Fenix's relevance?
Oh, he's been, Lucha Underground champ. He's done the tag team thing. He's been the Gift of the Gods champion. I mean, Fenix has done it all in there. He's a tremendous athlete. Just came off an angle with Marty the Moth Martinez as he was stalking Melissa Santos, the ring announcer there. But Fenix is a tremendous competitor. Same with Pentagon. But if I was to give my prediction right here, right now, I think it would have to come down to Austin Aries and Pentagon Jr. I'm going to say Austin Aries retains. But I wouldn't be shocked if Pentagon wins, because then you have the thing where Pentagon not only is he the Lucha Underground champion, but then he would be the Impact World Heavyweight champion. But in this one, I'm going to say the champ retains, and that's a double Austin Aries.
I'm going to go to Robert, and then we'll have Kyle be the last one on it.
So like,
Robert,
yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. So as I was saying, this is the match that matters the most, obviously, because it is the main event of the pay-per-view. I hope, look, I may have to go vegan for a day, but Austin Aries must win this match. He must retain the title. I will be fucking furious if they decided to go, full cockholes for Lucha Underground and put the titles on any of those guys. And those guys are great, but they should not be the first, big people to come out of the main event with the title. It should be someone homegrown from Impact Wrestling, because you are rebuilding. So, as I just said, Austin Aries is my pick. I'm not gonna, I may have to go vegan for a day. God damn it, just to give him some support, and he wins the match and retains the title.
One thing that needs to be said here, and I hate to be a dick, but you have three guys that aren't under contract with Impact wrestling for Impact Wrestling's main title. I don't like that, but I would hope that they can keep the belt on Austin Aries in this main event. If they're, it's going to be a hard-fought victory, but I think Austin Aries needs to win this match, and they need to give that motherfucker a contract.
Yeah, Kyle, you couldn't have said it any better than that. Because that's the thing on my mind, too. Like, I love A-Double, man. He's my guy. I was not looking forward to Redemption for the fact that really him and Alberto didn't entice me too much, and I really thought that Alberto was going to be the guy that went over, and I just didn't want that to happen. But, yeah, like I talked about re-signing Eli Drake with that Alberto money, and the other thing that I wanted to say was take the other half of that Alberto money and make fuck sure that you sign Austin Aries and you build this company around Austin Aries and Eli Drake as the top two guys.
Well, Raven, not to cut you off, but one thing hasn't been mentioned this entire podcast, and we're idiots. We deserve to get hit with the dummy button. Dude, Eli Drake has another briefcase. He still has a shot. So
that is true.
If Austin Aries wins, you might see Eli Drake cash in at the end of this pay-per-view.
You know, Kyle, you literally stole my thunder because guess what I was absolutely just going to bring up. So my prediction is that A-Double is going to retain. However, as Larkin brought up, Pentagon Jr., the dual champ, part of me kind of feels like they're going to pull a swerve and we're going to get a Lucha Underground guy. And, you know, it could be cool to have a dual champion, although I agree with Robert. I do not want to see someone from Lucha Underground win the Impact title, at least right now. But part of me felt like maybe one of these Lucha Underground guys actually ends up winning the belt. Lucha Underground's about to take over. Eli Drake comes out, saves the day, cashes in the briefcase, wins the title back. I could see him doing that with either guy. You know, if his contract's expiring and they don't get him re-signed, we're obviously going to see what happens. Eli challenging for the belt on these next set of tapings. But, yeah, I'm excited for this. They had a great match. It's a dual show, but honestly, man, like, A-Double's my guy. I want to over the belt collector. He's been really, man, you think about the great matches that Aries has had with Sydal, with Johnny Impact. Eli Drake was a good match. The guy's really doing his thing there, and you got to pay him, man. You got to pay A-Double. But I can't see the guy leaving. That's my man. So, look, guys, I'm going to say this. When I read the spoilers and all, I was not sure how I felt about this Redemption pay-per-view. I didn't expect to be this excited, but I think it's going to just absolutely be a kick-ass show this weekend. And I'm very, very excited for it. Again, as we tell everyone, pay the money. Don't download this shit illegally. Impact needs it. They're putting on great shows for you. You need to pay the money and support that. Any thoughts on pay-per-view overall going into it before we head out here?
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the payper-view. I was able.
Anything you want to say?
Yeah.
You might be on mute if you're talking.
Yeah. Okay, so I am looking forward to the pay-per-view. I was able to convince some of my old friends that we used to watch Impact Wrestling from the good old days. So I'm gonna have that old crew back at home, like the good old times. So there's gonna be some big shoes to fill.
The good old fashioned don't let my friends down. It's classic.
Yeah. So hopefully they're able to deliver. They must deliver. This is the first time that they are on pay-per-view. The let's say the Golden Bookers. This is the first shot at pay-per-view glory. So they must have an awesome pay-per-view. There is no room for failure this time around. Go ahead, Kyle.
Short and sweet. All I'm going to say is don't be stingy. Pay for the pay-per-view, people. Show a little support.
There's going to be a lot of great matchups. It should be a fun show.
You know, my computer froze again, but I'm assuming everyone said what they had to say. I caught what Robert said. Absolutely, they do not have room for error. They got to go out there and blow the doors off of it. I agree. A lot of great matches. I actually don't think there's one match on this card that doesn't sound like it's going to kick ass. Pay for the pay-per-view, people. Look, HeelCast is the RAV signing out. I want to thank everyone for coming back, checking us out on the long show. We're going to be back. Got some big projects for everyone. HeelCast out.